Greetings viewers, Hugh here coming to you from St Pancras International, which has always been the terminus for cross-channel trains in London, except it hasn't because of course they ran out of Waterloo from 1994 to 2007. However, in the political minefield that was building Channel Tunnel infrastructure in the UK, there was one proposal that wouldn't have only changed the way we travel to Europe, but also the way we travel to Europe from other places in the UK, and it was supposed to be located right here. As you can see, something else was built in this place, so obviously it wasn't built. Well, at least with not as much potential. This is the story of King's Cross International. The story of King's Cross International begins in the late 1980s, when the British and French governments finally agreed to build the Channel Tunnel beneath the Strait of Dover, allowing for passenger trains to run from the UK to mainland Europe without requiring a ferry crossing. However, there was considerable debate on whether a direct high-speed rail link should be built on the British side, linking London to the tunnel terminal near Folkestone. Originally, the route was planned to run via Tunbridge, Red Hill and Clapham Junction to a new terminal at White City, but this fell by the wayside following the cancellation of the original Channel Tunnel project in 1975. When the scheme was revived in the mid-1980s, the government still refused to finance the construction of a direct high-speed rail link, which resulted in the Channel Tunnel terminal being built at London Waterloo Station, with trains bound for Europe running on the existing UK Third Rail network until reaching the tunnel terminal. However, at the same time, a radical project was proposed to construct the high-speed rail link running through southeast London, with it having two branches, one heading to the terminal at Waterloo, mostly on surface lines, and the other running deep underneath London to a new underground terminal at King's Cross. The new station would have been constructed adjacent to King's Cross, on Pancras Road, with a beautiful sailed roof designed by Norman Foster. 4 platforms would be used for international services, and a further 2 would be used for high-speed trains to Kent. The station would also have a brand new station on the Thameslink route be constructed adjoining it, with the existing King's Cross Thameslink station being closed, tying into the greater Thameslink 2000 project. The 1970s concourse at King's Cross would have also been demolished to create a new open space. The station would have also possibly allowed for Eurostar services to easily run to other cities in Britain, with this project being proposed at the same time as electrification of the East Coast Main Line, which could have easily allowed for Eurostar trains to run to Newcastle and Edinburgh, and maybe also on the West Coast Main Line to Birmingham, Liverpool and Manchester. The project would have also seen the redevelopment of the area to the north of King's Cross with new office and residential space. However, despite all the upsides of regeneration and linking Britain and Europe more closely, the project did have its drawbacks. Firstly, the project would have necessitated the demolition of the Great Northern Hotel at King's Cross, as it was in the way of where the new concourse was going to go, which was met with a lot of criticism, and the structure has now become Grade 2 listed. The greater demolition required for the connecting infrastructure was also problematic, as significant property demolition would had to have been undertaken in south-east London, and in the King's Cross area, reportedly 83 homes and 58 shops would had to have been demolished in order to construct the subterranean station to accommodate 18-car trains. This resulted in the project receiving significant opposition from local MPs, including one named Jeremy Corbyn. You might have heard of him. Despite the plan being largely popular in Parliament, it was effectively killed off in 1993 when the government decided to run the new Channel Tunnel rail link through East London and instead use St Pancras as its new international terminal, which at the time was a rather underutilised terminal only used by Midland mainline services, which had only been saved from demolition by a campaign by Sir John Betjeman. Now, of course, even if the underground terminal at King's Cross never happened, quite a lot of the stuff that was proposed did. International trains, as well as high-speed trains to Kent, do now run into St Pancras, located only feet away from the original proposed site, via a purpose-built high-speed railway opened in 2007. A new Thameslink station was also built, although this time at St Pancras, and connected to the East Coast Main Line, and the area to the north of the two stations has seen significant regeneration over the last few decades into a new business and residential community. And most importantly of all, the station site itself was eventually used to create a large new concourse for King's Cross Station, opened in 2012, as part of a major restoration which included the retainment of the Great Northern Hotel. So then, why am I even talking about this proposal, as at the end of the day, most of the stuff proposed came to fruition? However, one thing didn't, and that was the opportunity to run Eurostar services to other cities in the UK, as building the London terminal underground near a railway junction would have allowed for this. This is important because while Eurostar is incredibly beneficial if you're travelling from London to Europe, if you're travelling from, say, Liverpool to Brussels, you have to book 2 separate trains and also walk along Euston Road to transfer from Euston to St Pancras, and at the end of the day, most people fly anyway. Plans to run Eurostar services to other cities in Britain did get some traction, to the point where rolling stock was ordered, but this was eventually scrapped alongside a proposed sleeper service due to complications with establishing border checkpoints at other stations, although the shorter Class 373s ordered for these services did see work for GNER between London, Leeds and York, and later for SNCF TGV services, although were taken out of service by 2014. For more on this, do check out Rory, I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, McVeigh's video on this subject, as he goes into way more detail than I ever could. So, overall, I do think that while ambitious and very much damaging to the local area, the King's Cross International proposal did have several merits, although was sadly killed off due to opposition from local residents and the political minefield that was building the tunnel infrastructure and its function as a border, although, as I said, quite a lot of the benefits that this scheme would have brought did eventually come, and King's Cross still maintains its image as a railway junction, but also as a new hip district. And well, there you have it. That's the story of King's Cross International. And whilst it never really came to fruition, most of the benefits that it proposed did. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye!